Welcome to Downshift, my name is Matt, and this is the best-selling thing in America on four wheels. This is the 75th anniversary of the Ford F-Series, and this guy is the F-150 Raptor's little brother, the Tremor, and it's very cool, but nothing is perfect, so today we're hitting the highlights, the best and the rest, starting with the rest. The first thing we're going to talk about is price, and on paper this thing starts at about $16,000 less than the big brother Raptor, which is a pretty big difference. However, as tested, this truck is optioned up to $74,000, which is like $13,000 more than where it started, and it puts it dangerously close to Raptor money. So I went on Ford's website and spec'd out a Raptor in a very similar way to what we have here, and it was less than $10,000 more than this Tremor. So it's not that this Tremor is bad in any way. In fact, it's actually very good. The problem just becomes that the Raptor is such an amazing truck, and it can be had within four figures of this Tremor here. Number two, we have to talk about the engine. Now let me just say, I love V8s. I love the 5.0 Coyote here that you get, and I love the sound that you get here with this V8. However, when you really look at it on paper and objectively, it is the worst of the two decisions, because the Ecoboost 3.5 V6 is a no-cost option, and with the Ecoboost you get 40 more horsepower, you get 80 more pound-feet of torque, and you get almost 1,000 more pounds of towing capacity, and you get better fuel economy on top of all of it. So again, it's not like the 5.0 Coyote here is bad, it's just you really have to love V8 sound to go with the V8 here. But that's literally it. Those are the only places that I can ding this truck. So let's talk about all the great things going on here. The first thing we're going to talk about is all the off-road stuff. Now the Tremor package is kind of the Raptor-Lite trim, and it comes with a host of really helpful off-roading stuff. First of all, as you'd expect, every Tremor comes standard with 4x4, but you also get an extra 1.5 inches of lift in the back and an extra inch in the front. Clearance comes in at just under 11 inches. You still get leaf springs in the back versus the 5-link in the Raptor, but you do get Tremor-specific shocks, and they're pretty dang good. You get skid plates underneath, you get recovery hooks front and rear, you get general grabber all-terrain tires, 33 inches, which is pretty awesome, quiet, and they're really good in the wet. You also get a rear locker, you get trail control, off-road cruise control basically. You get trail cameras so you can spot your lines and see your tolerances. And you get trail turn assist, but I would try to use that sparingly as it's pretty hard on your diff. And in the cabin, you get those 6 auxiliary overhead toggles that you get in the Raptor. And number two, we're going to talk about the gold. The Tremor trim gets its own exclusive color, and it's this gold, and it's everywhere. It's in your grille, it's in your front recovery hooks, but strangely not on the rear recovery hooks. It's on your front fender grille, which is my favorite part, and you get this bedside graphic with a lot of dimension. And of course, you have a tailgate badge. And there's a bunch on the inside as well. Your seats with piping, stitching, perforation, and of course the logo embroidered into the seat itself. You've got it rimming your dash, your door card, your steering wheel, and of course in your back seats. I mean, you're not going to forget that this is a special trim. And number three, we're going to talk about technology. This Tremor trim is stuffed with a bunch of modern and bleeding edge technology that's super helpful and convenient, even off-roading. You've got vivid 360 cameras to help with trailering and off-roading stuff. You've got trailering assists here, you've got wireless Apple CarPlay, you've got Pro Power, which is still one of my favorite things ever. Here you get up to 2 kilowatts of output, the same as you'd get on the Raptor. You get zone lighting with 4 different zones, front, each side, and the rear. And you get Blue Cruise here, which actually works really well, even with all the construction around my house. You have a huge infotainment screen with dual things that you can see on either screen, so you can get a lot of information at once. And you have a fully digital gauge cluster, which is really cool. And finally, your upgraded Bang & Olufsen sound system is immaculate. And number four, we're talking truck stuff. The Tremor isn't just a really good off-roader, but it's also underpinned by one of the most practical appliances that you can buy, the F-Series. Here with the Coyote V8, you get 10,000 pounds of towing. You get 1,885 pounds of payload. Weirdly, this one is missing the brilliant Ford bed step though. But you still have Pro Power on board here. Oh, and all the Tremors are Super Crew with the 5.5-foot bed for your configuration. You've got Raptor running boards, but instead of Raptor, they say Ford. And then on the interior, you have chargers everywhere that you could possibly need them. You've also got the fold-away shifter and the work desk thing if you need to get some stuff done. And then of course, there's the host of technology things like your Pro Trailer and your zone lighting and things we've already talked about. Number 5 is gonna have to be the drive. Remember how I said you gotta really like V8 sound to get the V8 here? Well, yeah, it sounds pretty awesome. You have more Raptor style exhaust out the back than you do normal F150 exhaust. Also, I mentioned that the Tremor gets leaf springs in the back as opposed to the multi-link that you get in the Raptor. It's more like a normal F150 here. However, the shocks are tuned really, really well. You've got nice travel and a supple ride, and that's gonna also complement you on the trails with a little bit more suspension travel for wheel articulation. You've also got a really nice and quiet and refined cabin here. The engine gives you great push at 400 horsepower, 410 pound-feet. The 10-speed transmission isn't my favorite in this application. I do kind of miss the paddles on the Raptor. You can hit M and then use this little plus and minus button on the side, but that just doesn't really feel as fun. But if you drive this like a normal person, it's pretty much fine most of the time for the transmission. Ultimately, it may not be Raptor smooth here, but it's probably top 3. Number 6, we're talking Luxuries. This may be a pickup truck, but it's still got a lot of really nice stuff in here. You get heated and cooled seats, you get a heated steering wheel, and you get heated rear seats. You've got a panoramic roof option here, and you've got Blue Cruise to make life easier, and of course wireless CarPlay, one of my favorite things. I mean, if luxury is measured as convenience and how it makes your life easier, this is a very luxurious truck. And number 7, we're talking looks. I've always liked the look of this generation F-150, and with this avalanche paint, I like it even more. It's not really white and it's not really gray. It almost feels like a Volvo or Polestar color, and it's really, really cool and expensive feeling. And it looks great in combo with the gold Tremor accents. Plus you have the gunmetal 18-inch wheels wrapped in the beefy 33-inch General Grabber all-terrain tires. And if you look closely, you have a 75 anniversary decal at the top of the windshield. And this was interesting to me. Both the front and rear Ford badges are black and not the Ford blue. And 8th and finally, we're talking rear cabin practicality. The rear seats here are wildly spacious. They're also really comfortable, and they're heated with 2 levels back here. You've got a huge flat floor for your feet, and you've got chargers, seat pockets, cup holders, vents, and you've got that big pano roof option that I told you about earlier, bringing light into all of it. But if you don't want to put people back here, this bottom part of the seat folds up to put more stuff in, or this seat back folds forward if you need to get your jack out. So that's the best and the rest of the Ford F-150 in Tremor spec. And as you could tell from the course of this video, it is very good. So thanks to Ford for letting us have a go. If it was me and my money personally, I might save up a little bit longer and try to stretch for the Raptor, but this is pretty impressive. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.